Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Vivian with My Spiritual GPS. And today is a very fun day for all of us because I have invited a very special guest to actually teach us the Buddha's way, the laughing Buddha's way, which is a way of life. So we know, for those of you just tuning in and for those of you that are new, My Spiritual GPS was created because we know that we are where we are in life. So we need to be accepting of that. But at the same time, we also know we're moving towards our soul purpose, looking for the future version of ourselves. But in the meantime, sometimes in the middle, there is the clutter and the baggages and some discomfort and resistance that we have to get to our soul purpose. Therefore, we need some tools that are practical and that are able to give us a way to move through that soul purpose with ease, grace, and flow. So today I have invited a very, very special guest who's an internationally recognized author. She is a meditation expert and founder of the #1 expressive meditation training school in North America, helping business owners, leaders, and CEO. And actually, her name is Pragito Dove. So Pragito, welcome to our show. Thank you for being with us. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Vivian. I am very excited today to be here. I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know that you have a lot of things to share with us. So a lot of people nowadays, all of this quarantine and pandemic have been experiencing a lot of negative emotions, as we know, whether you're a business owner or you're a mom or a dad, right? Or just even a child. There are some things that we're going through at this time. So can you tell us why you call it the laughing Buddhas? Like, what is that? What is this way of life? We want to know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the laughing Buddhas. Well, the actual laughing Buddha was from 16th century Japan. His name was Hotei. And some of you might have seen little statues or pictures of him. He's the guy with the big belly. So he was an enlightened master and a Zen master, but he taught enlightenment through laughter. And he used to walk from village to village in Japan, and all he would do was laugh. And the people, all the village elders and the people, they'd have all these questions they wanted to ask him, all these serious questions about enlightenment, and all he would do would laugh.
Oh my gosh.
And so, of course, you know what happens when someone's laughing. They started laughing and they forgot all their questions. And so basically what happens when you laugh is you become free, maybe only momentarily, but you become free of the mind. And it's the mind, this thing here that creates all our problems for us. The mind likes to keep busy and likes to tell us things like, oh, well, you've had a great success, but what are you going to do now? And supposing this happens, and supposing that happens, The mind is very good at keeping us sort of tethered to our experiences from the past. And why would we want to try something new? Because it might not work out. Right. So really, in a way, the goal of meditation is to become free of the mind. So it's not that we don't need the mind, because we do. We just don't want to be at the effect of all those negative thoughts.
Right, because we have more negative thoughts usually than positive thoughts. I read somewhere it's like, is it 85 to 90,000 thoughts? And unfortunately, most of them are negative.
Yeah.
And it's not 50%. It's like 80 to 90% of them are negative, right?
Yeah. And so, okay, so how do we counter that? So I have quite a number of solutions to share, but I'll just stay with Hotei, the laughing Buddha, for the laughter. So So what laughter does, and this is really cool,
Right.
laughter erases the fear of the mind. So you can't be worried and laughing at the same time.
Okay. Now,
See?
does it have to be a certain way to laugh? Like, is it like a belly laugh, or can we just like fake it till we make it? Can we just go?
Yep. Yep. Any kind of laughter, it's all laughter, it's all good. And so,
Ah,
yeah, it's all good. I mean, eventually, when you do a lot of laughter, like I have, you'll end up with a belly laughter, but
ah,
it doesn't have to be, and it's definitely fake it till you make it, you know? So laughter is actually very good for us on the physical for the physical body because it helps us release a tremendous amount of tension from the body.
oh
So
wow.
so for
How many minutes does it take in order for this transformation to occur?
it can take 1 minute, it can take any number of minutes. I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, you're going to release all your tensions from your whole life in 1 minute.
Yeah.
But what I encourage you to do is make a practice of laughing every day.
Mm.
Now, maybe some people already laugh every day, so that's a good thing. But this is the very popular homework I give all my students. I want you to laugh every day. You know, find funny videos. It doesn't matter how you get to laugh
Yeah.
because your body is going to love it because
Wow.
the amount of tensions you release and it opens you up.
Like, what's the difference between, let's say, you know, how you're eating breakfast in the morning and there's a positive thought or a memory that showed up, or maybe I'm just looking at my window, I saw a bird drinking water, let's say from the pool, right? So can I just smile and while I'm eating, or can I start laughing because I'm laughing at whatever I'm seeing? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, see, the thing is, there's no logical rules to it because logic comes from the mind.
Okay.
And laughter comes from that deep place within us, down our center, down below the belly button. Yeah, that's where our laughter actually comes from. If you think about it, it rises up. And very often it's very spontaneous. You know, you burst out laughing, maybe at an inappropriate time. I don't know. I used to do as a kid. I used to start laughing in church or something where
You
we
get
weren't
in
supposed
trouble?
to laugh.
Did you get in trouble because you're laughing all the time? Like, what
Yeah,
are you doing?
right,
Oh my
right.
God.
So
Okay.
so the thing is just to keep the awareness around that in smiling is I'm glad you mentioned smiling. Smiling is very good for the facial muscles. It's very good for a positive attitude. You go out and walk down the street and you're smiling at people, you get smiles back.
True.
So it's lifts your vibration. If
Ah,
you remember to have your laughter, to have your smiles every day, you're
right.
raising your vibe for law of attraction because the more positive energy, and you know this is what the work you do too, the more
Mhm.
positive energy you put out, guess what you get back? Positivity. Yes.
Yes.
And when you make a practice of this laughter, all those negative thoughts you were talking about, over time, they lessen
Mm,
and lessen and lessen, and they become more and more faint so that you can't really hear them because you have practiced bringing positive energy because
right.
the positive energy is laughter is actually more powerful than trying to force your thoughts to be positive. I mean, you can
Mm,
do that, you can, but it's kind of hard work.
yes.
um, Much easier to just laugh a lot. And I see the question you brought up. Yeah, laughter and play.
And laughter and play lead to deep meditation and silence.
Yeah, well, it does. See, this is the second part of the meditation that Hote taught everybody in Japan and that we can learn now
Mhm.
is um, Well, let me talk about play first, and then I'll talk about the deep meditation. So play is like a dimension of laughter. I mean, actually, laughter is a dimension of love, which is the highest vibrational set point there is. Yes. And so is play, and so is fun, and so is positivity. They're all dimensions, actually, of laughter and of love. And so they're all raising your vibe. And meditation is being in the present moment. That's what meditation is. Exactly. And the easiest way, I tell people, to be in the present moment is to be enjoying yourself, to be having fun. Because then you're more likely to be in the present moment. Why wouldn't you be? You're having fun. You're doing things you enjoy. So see, there's these great solutions here, which are really fun.
Yeah.
So the more fun and playfulness you can bring into your day-to-day life, it helps you be in the present moment and not get caught up in those negative thoughts.
Got it.
And so the second stage of the meditation that Hote taught everybody, and we still do now. So the first stage is just to laugh. Right. No speaking in English. Nobody has to be a stand-up comedian, just laughing, which actually is a lot easier than you might think, because we're all dying to laugh, actually. Everybody likes to laugh.
Let's just laugh, just for the sake of laughing, right? So let's apply Pragito's techniques right now. So everybody just go ahead and laugh about yourself, about anything that you're seeing. Let's do it right now.
Okay.
So we're like little kids having fun, right?
Yes. And I want everybody to notice how you're feeling.
The endorphins are coming out, right? Like
So
releasing these good hormones.
Yes. And then the second stage, Vivian, is to sit in silence.
Okay.
So
let's sit in silence.
So we'll do that for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. So we sit in silence. All right. Very good.
Wow.
Yes. So did you notice how you felt in the silence part? Because what we've done, we've taken all that energy of laughter and those good vibe feelings inside, and then you can really be more aware of laughter from the inside and how it helps you feel. And here's the more good news. This is all good news.
I love good news.
Yes. So what happens is when you do the laughter and then you close your eyes and you go inside, it helps you go deeper, quicker.
True.
Because the mind is not there interfering as strongly as it would be if you hadn't done the laughter first.
Got it.
Because it's the mind that stops you going deep into inner silence. The mind's like, yeah. And so when you do
this good at night also, right? Like if they can't stop their mind from moving and thinking, they could actually laugh and then be in silence before they go to bed.
Yeah. Great idea.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. And it's also a great way to start the day.
Yes.
When you start the day laughing.
Yes.
You just do it for a few minutes or 1 minute or 30 seconds. Yes. It has the most incredible effect on your whole day. It changes the whole day and the vibration of the day. And look, laughter's free, Yeah. So you don't have to go and get a PhD in laughter. It has so many benefits because also it opens the heart.
Yes.
You can't be hating people that you laugh with. It's just you know, so it opens the heart. So it's very good for relationships. It's a
Mm.
very attractive energy. People like people who are laughing and having fun type of people. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I
And
agree.
it helps the mind. It
Mm.
helps your meditation go deeper. So laughter has many benefits.
Benefits. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask the next question on, for some people, right? Like that's a thought. But if
Yeah.
they have lost someone, they're grieving, they're in pain, and it may not be a physical pain, but it could be an emotional or mental pain or spiritual
Yeah.
pain. How do
Yeah.
you feel these types of issues through the meditation techniques? Like, would laughter be appropriate because you're going from one end of the spectrum to another, right?
Yes.
Maybe they don't understand, like, what are you talking about? I just lost my husband or wife or child. Like, how can I
Yes.
laugh? That's, for their mind, it's inappropriate, right? Or even for
Yep.
society, like, what are you talking about? Is this even applicable to this types of situations?
Yes, yes, that's a great question, Vivian, and it's great timing for the question as we've just talked all about laughter. Now,
Mhm.
the opposite energy is tears, is
Mhm.
crying.
Yes.
And so, yes, there are meditations for crying and for grief and for tears.
Mm.
And it's very important that if we are feeling sad or a lot of grief or pain, emotional pain,
Yes.
that we be with it.
Be
That
with
don't,
that pain, with that grief.
yes, be
Mm.
present with it.
Okay.
Allow it.
Mhm.
Allow it. See, the problem is that most people, they judge it and they
Mm.
think, oh, I shouldn't be still sad if my husband died a year ago,
Right.
or I shouldn't be feeling sad today. I should be happy. And, you
Mhm.
know, but the key with the emotions is to be honest with
Mm.
your emotions. So if
Okay.
you're feeling sad, be sad and
Mm.
allow it. Now
Yes.
that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, especially if you're working, let's say you're saying, okay, be sad, but then this person has to go to work or has to run a business,
Yes.
because how do you actually make time for that and at the same time do the work that you are required to do for the day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
tough
That's
spot.
it is, and it's not easy. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is always awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the number one thing. Meditation is awareness. So to be aware, okay, today I feel sad. I've got to go to work. I've got to do all these things. And
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to have to do is see if you can allow the sadness. The important thing is not to judge it.
Okay,
Do not judge yourself for being sad.
got it.
Just let it be there and go to work. And you're going to have to see if you can do your work and allowing the sadness as well.
Right.
Now, most likely it will start to shift because the more you can allow that feeling, the sooner it will shift into something else.
Yeah, because it
And
almost feels like a stagnant, body of water in your body, obviously, right? It's kind of like, that's why tears come out, because
yeah,
the emotions have to flow. But if you think of a grief or sadness, normally it's stored in the lungs. And if you're carrying a fluid in your lungs, but you're letting it not tip over, right? Because you
yeah,
have to work, you have to do your day-to-day activities instead of just go to the bathroom and cry for a little bit and then come back, which normally they would feel better acknowledging that, right? Like,
yeah,
you need to take a break from the work and just feel something, move it, and then go
exactly.
back to work. Yes.
Yeah, it's very important, especially with tears, because we have tears for a reason.
Yes.
And the tears are healing. They
Mm,
heal our hearts.
yes.
So the more you can allow the tears, yeah, you might have to go off to the bathroom or do whatever you have to do. But the more you can allow the tears, what you're doing is you're healing yourself with that. And
Mm,
it will heal quicker
mm-hmm.
if you allow the tears. And as I've said, what can cause the stuckness is judgment.
Got it. Okay.
Because we have this energy that wants to flow into tears or into laughter, because we might have a situation where, oh, I should better not laugh here. I'm at a business meeting or something, you know. And then the judgment comes in and puts a stop on the flow of the energy of the emotion. And that's what creates a stuckness. So I always say, you know, be aware if you're having judgments about the emotions you're feeling, because the emotions come, they come. I mean, sadness comes in waves, you know, as does laughter, and joy comes in waves. And it's learning to sort of ride the emotions with awareness and non-judgment, acceptance.
Yes, yes.
Acceptance of what is, which is what meditation is. Accept what is.
Yes. Okay, that's a great definition. Yes.
Judging it. Yes.
So I want to follow up with the same kind of similar question. So if I give you a scenario, and I think the viewers might enjoy this, right? Because we all go through this, right? We go to the grocery store, we're in line, and we wanted to buy, let's say, one thing, and we're hurrying up because maybe we need to get back to work at 1 o'clock, and this is our only lunch break, right? Very, very short window of time. And unfortunately, on the line, you suddenly have someone in front of you that has more groceries than you. You only have one item to buy. And so how can you apply being present and aware and being in a form of meditation, right? When you're like rushing, you need to get back to the office by 1 o'clock, and this person has a whole boatload of groceries in front of you. Can you give us some tools, practical tools we can do right there and then?
Yes.
To not go into this irritation and frustration mode, obviously, because when we're reactive, right, when our mind is thinking so much, oh my God, I'm going to be late. What is this woman thinking about doing? How come she has to do this right now in front of me? Like, those are the things that go in our heads, right?
Yeah.
How can we calm ourselves down and be present and still kind of move with this flow?
Great question. So the first thing again is awareness. Always the awareness first. Okay, right now, I might be late if I can't get to the cashier soon. You know, right. There's this woman in front of me, and let me see if I can breathe, always breathing, because that helps the body calm down. Okay. And when the body calms down, meditation is based on relaxation. And with relaxation, always start with the body. So the breathing, just breathe. So take a couple of deep breaths, and it will help the body calm down. And then the mind will calm down behind that. And so will the emotions when the body calms down. So that's the first thing you do, and you start that. Now, personally, what I would do, I would say in my best, most courteous voice to the woman in front of me with the huge cart of goods, excuse me, would you mind very much if I went ahead of you, because I've only got one thing and I'm going to be late for work. Now, the chances are, I have done that actually. And every time that person has said yes, so I've moved in front. Thank you very much. Very graceful and courteous to that person. Thank you so much. And you're on your way and you're fine.
Okay.
So you get the best response from people when you ask them a question if you come from a centered place of joy. I mean, a quiet joy, but just with a tremendous courtesy and respect. Would you mind, etc. Then you get very good results rather than allowing all the irritation, and then you feel like yelling at. Of course, that's not going to have a good result. Right. So so that's how meditation can help you in a sort of maybe a chaotic situation. Is number one, the awareness, and number two, remember the body and take some deep breaths, because that will calm the body down, and then the mind will calm down behind that, and then you have more clarity
Yes.
of mind to come up with, your creativity can come through, because then there's a clear passage through
Mhm.
to come up with a creative solution to
Right.
whatever is going on. You need your creativity in a chaotic situation.
And I agree with that. Like you said, when you're coming from a calm, peaceful place and you're speaking your truth, that you
Mm-hmm.
are going to be late and
Mm-hmm.
you're asking for a switch in
Mm-hmm.
place, so to speak. It also allows you to be more aware on how you respond to things, or do you
Yes.
actually react? Because
Yes.
if little things bother you, like if that bothered you, usually I notice this for people that get irritated so fast, they're going to talk about it anyway. When they go back to the office, they're going to say, oh my God, I was late because of this woman. Again, talking about the other person instead of owning what they could have
Yep.
done, right?
Exactly.
And you look at your pattern, because that irritation, which is like a sister, a cousin, or a brother of anger, is going to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And it seems like in their life, they become reactive. Because what
Yeah.
we do in one thing, we do in everything, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I would normally look around, like you said, awareness. I'd step back and look at all the counters and go, where else is it open with a shorter line? That's my usual go-to. Like I look for another alternative. Like if
Yes.
it's not available, it's okay. I'll go somewhere else. No problem. Right?
Yes.
So pay attention to how you're responding rather than reacting.
Yes. And that's about taking responsibility of
Yes.
your own emotions, your own reactions to
Mm-hmm.
yourself in the situation.
Yes.
Because when you come back here to your center, then you can look at things with more objectivity and clarity, as you said, and you had a different solution to mine. See, that's the creativity.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh, I love this scenarios. May I ask you for maybe two more? Because I know a lot of the audience can benefit from
Of
these
course. Absolutely.
scenarios. Okay, thank you. So the second one is, let's say I'm being judgmental, right? So because our mind, it has to analyze all these things, and then it has to form a conclusion of some sort. So let's say I'm being judgmental that somebody is not fast enough in their growth and expansion and development, or maybe I'm noticing I'm being critical on how they work, how they move, how they execute things. What do you do with judgments? Like if our brain, our mind is telling us, oh my God, it should have been done this way and it should have been done by now. How do you help us with meditation or any of your tools for this particular issue of judgment?
Great question. I love it. Okay, so first of all, the awareness again. Awareness always comes first. I have judgments right now going in my mind, because judgments live in the mind.
Okay.
Judgment and comparing and fear and greed, those four, I call them our four false friends, they live in the mind.
Say that again. Judgment,
Judgment, comparison,
comparison,
fear,
fear,
and greed.
and greed live in the mind. Good
Yeah.
to know. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So the awareness again, oh, I've got judgments going on here about this person who should have done this and ought to have done that. So there's your should and ought are two red flag words, which are judgmental words.
Yeah, should and ought. Yeah. Okay.
So then again, breathe and just take a moment with yourself
Mm.
and let the judgments go.
Is it
Because it
possible
means
we're also judging ourselves? If we're able to judge others, are we able to judge ourselves in return, right? Like, are we doing
but
the same thing?
and actually that's the root of the problem,
Ah,
because the person we judge the most is this person here, ourselves.
okay.
And a good way to know if you're judging yourself a lot is look at how much you judge other people.
Wow.
Because basically everybody's a mirror. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that means we're judging ourselves.
Mm.
And that's the real root of the problem. a lot of self-criticism and self-judgment. So then you can go deeper into that and, and ask, you know, how come I could believe in myself more? Or maybe I could feel more deserving or more compassionate. Because we must be compassionate with ourselves first, and then we can be more compassionate with others. Yes?
Yes, yes.
And then if we're less hard on ourselves, we can less hard on others. And then if you need to talk to this person, then you can speak to them from a compassionate heart. I noticed you did this, or I noticed you did that. Is there another way you could do it? Or could you do it a little bit faster? But the more loving and compassionate you are when you speak to people about whatever the problem is, the more likely you'll get a good response from them, rather than coming across judgmental, because then they start shutting down because they don't probably feel that good about themselves anyway. And then it just spirals downwards.
Yeah.
So we have to find love and compassion for ourselves, and then we'll find a way to speak to people from that place rather than from judgment. So we have to come down from the head to the heart.
Wow. Thank you. That was very good. So let me just share with you a comment. So Helen had a lot of smiley, almost crying while laughing. That was fun. Thank you, Helen, for tuning in. And Shifra said she got sent to the office in school a couple of times for laughing in class. I was asking, why are you laughing? And she didn't know why, but maybe she was bored and laughing took the boredom away. That's true. That's very good, Shifra. Thank you.
That's great.
Awesome. One more question I have for you is, let's say you feel distant from someone you love. You know, for all of us that are in spiritual development and personal transformation, sometimes our frequency does change. Not sometimes, all the time. It's almost like you're no longer in alignment with other people, whether it's in your family, right, in your circle, or maybe your friends. And so when you're feeling that way, is there a good tool for them to I guess, to help them understand what that process is about, or to find that inner peace that there is going to be a discrepancy or a difference in frequency or a phase in development, or even the speed in development, right?
Yes.
Those are all factors. There's so many factors when it comes to keeping your friends, losing certain people that you love, or how does that work? That's a loaded question.
It is. It's a great question. Well, this is a relationship. This is about relationships.
Yes.
And relationships are the domain of the heart.
Yes.
Not the domain of the mind.
Yes, agreed.
However, the mind thinks it knows everything. And so it's always coming in with comments like, oh, what are you doing with her? And look at her hair, look at her shoes, and making comments here. Yeah.
Or you're too successful, Pragito. You can't even spend time with us. Like, what's going on there? Right. That's still the mind speaking.
Yeah. And so, again, the awareness, start with the awareness. What is going on inside of me that this other person is causing me a problem of some kind?
It's triggering. Yep. It's
triggering me.
For us. Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, are you in your heart or are you in your head? You have to ask yourself that, you know. And if you feel like it's the head, comparing, judging, you know, making negative comments about this person or whatever, then you know, you have to come down to your heart and breathe and feel the love in your heart and the compassion for yourself. Because first of all, we have to love and accept and have compassion for ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we can have more love, compassion, and acceptance for others. Yep. So that is really the journey, because I do think that love is, it pulls us up to the highest we can be. to the vibration of love, to be in the vibration of love at all times. That's not easy. I've done that journey myself. And it's very easy to slip into blaming and pointing the finger and so on. But if we can always remember to come back to our own hearts and love ourselves and have compassion and acceptance is a part of it too for ourselves, it makes all our relationships much easier. And then the clarity comes, because sometimes, yes, we do have to talk to that person, but we can talk to them in a loving, compassionate way so they can hear what we're saying. And sometimes maybe it's our stuff, you know, because we have old pain. So we get triggered because somebody reminds us of our mother or our father or something like that, somebody that didn't treat us well, that abused us. So it can trigger all of that. So we have to get clear. And I suggest that you take 24 to 48 hours to do your check-in before you then start talking to the person, if you need to talk to them, because maybe it's just your issue, but always coming to the heart.
Got it. Okay, so I've brought in a lot of the comments coming from our Facebook group, so thank you everyone for watching, and I'm sure these tools are very helpful for you, because even for me, right, it doesn't mean you're practicing spirituality and personal growth that you're perfect. We're never perfect. Like Pragito is saying, there are people around us that are mirrors of us. And so looking at them and looking at us would really help us grow. And isn't it, Pragito, that the one that is the most difficult person is usually the best teacher of us all, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
It's not the one that, like, the best person makes you laugh, makes you have fun. That's why you want to hang out with that person all the time. But it's the most difficult one that eventually, when you transform that relationship, your heart opens up to a whole new dimension that you're not even aware of, right? So I'm going to bring up Sarah, our assistant today, and I'm sure she has some insights or input here and other comments that may make this a little bit more juicy. So, Sarah, are there any questions or scenarios you want to ask our special guest today on?
You shared some of the comments. A lot of people are enjoying the laughter and joining in. And we have people, Venus, talking about how laughter is a contagious tool and how it's making her laugh a lot. So that's good. We have everyone joining in, laughing. She also wants to know if there's such thing as tears of joy. I mean, every time I laugh, like really, really laugh, I am crying and laughing. It's so funny. I do have one quick comment you said about the scenarios. So one thing that I created for myself that really helped me for scenarios, so I created a couple of different Instagram accounts, and one in particular I curate towards funny things. So it's only funny stuff. So
I like that.
If I'm in a situation where I'm like frustrated, there's a line, or if I'm freely able to just pull out my phone and keep myself busy while it's happening, it's usually on the account that I curated for funny things. And I'm telling you, this morning I was crying, laughing at these videos. The world is hilarious and they're talented. So that's one thing I've done in a certain scenario, just to make a comment. Other than that, I see Shifra talked about having to go to the office in school for laughing. Even with me growing up, we weren't, if my dad was home and the news was on, it would make us want to laugh even 10 times more because we weren't supposed to. And we would always get in trouble.
Yes, I went through
the
that.
shouldn't part, right? Pragito said that the shouldn't and you ought to, or you don't.
Oh my goodness.
The more people tell you shouldn't do that. And I remember this, when I was going to church when I was little also. It's like, don't do this. Well, of course I would do it. They say, don't wear earrings, don't wear short skirts, don't wear sleeveless, don't. I'm like, Hey, I'm doing that.
Oh no. Well, you don't tell someone not to do something,
The
especially if you're
rebel.
Vivian or the rebel of the family. Yeah.
Yep, the rebel
Um,
within us.
but yeah, I also read somewhere recently that it said even if you force a smile on your face,
Mm.
it changes the entire like chemistry of your body simply just by forcing these two muscles up. And I just thought that was fascinating as well. So, but
Wow.
yeah, that's
Well,
my corner here.
thank you,
I'll
Sarah,
put it
for
back to Vivian.
all right. Thank you. Okay.
Great idea.
Pragito, there was one question I have about laughter, right? So sometimes we use laughter, I think, more as a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I wanted to touch base on that because sometimes we use laughter inappropriately. Like you said, it could be we're in a middle of the boardroom. And I guess if that is your personality, like I'm really fun and happy, and people tell me that they love my laugh or they miss my laugh. It's like, I haven't talked to you because I haven't heard you laugh, and then they just love the laughter.
Yeah.
So when does it become a defense mechanism wherein we inappropriately use it for things that we shouldn't be using it for? Like, is there such a thing?
Yeah, I don't know if we can use it because that's involuntary. It just happens.
Gotcha.
Laughter just happens. And then we have to maybe try and control it. But
Yes.
there is a situation where people have like a nervous laugh, where they're laughing out of fear,
Mhm.
actually, because they're nervous, and that's a nervous habit. So,
Hmm.
uh,
What
what
can
is
we
it?
do with that?
What?
What can we do about that?
Well, first of all, do a lot of laughter practice every day of real laughter. I mean, where it's not because you're nervous, but just to enjoy the benefits of
So
laughter.
voluntarily and consciously
Yes,
choose
consciously,
when to use it.
deliberately.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
focusing on laughter for that. And I think what will happen over time, it will heal that unconscious habit because that's coming from fear. Remember,
Got it.
fear lives up here. There's
Right.
somebody saying that's me. Ha ha. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. So fear is in the mind,
Yes.
and there's two things that heal fear: love and
Mhm.
laughter.
Mm.
So keep on with laughing every day, and also bring more love into your life, loving yourself, accepting yourself, and receiving love. Oh yeah, this person saying I laugh when I get in uncomfortable situations. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bring in more love and laughter consciously and deliberately into your life on a daily basis, consistently. And then when you get into uncomfortable situations, you will feel more, it will help you feel more grounded and relaxed. And especially if you do, after you're laughing, you sit in silence. Just close your eyes, even if you do like 1 minute of laughter, 1 minute sitting in silence, or 2 minute laughter, 2 minutes sitting in silence. So
Okay.
you'll get used to dropping down inside to your center, 2 inches
Mm.
below the navel. So you'll be more calm and centered. And then when you go in a situation where it's uncomfortable or difficult, you'll
Mhm.
have more presence. Because
Perfect.
when you're present, fear is not there.
Awesome. Wow. Oh my gosh. We can talk all day, Pragito, because I really love what you're sharing. And I'm sure the audience has enjoyed that. Is there any particular, I know you're so generous with your time and your energy. Is there a website or a page that they can connect with you so they can actually practice laughter? Is there something you can share with the viewers?
Yes, absolutely. I do want to share my book too.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
this is my new book, #1 bestseller on Amazon. And everything I've been talking about, all the techniques and everything I've been saying, it's all in here, Lunchtime Enlightenment.
Yeah.
And other thing you can do is go to my website, discovermeditation.com/contact, and get some free gifts when you sign up for my Laughing Buddhas Network newsletter.
Mm.
And
So
you'll
what are
get
these gifts? Share with us what these gifts are.
the gifts. Yes, you get a 30 days of meditation, just short meditation, 30 of them, one a day. They're very simple, but something to help remind you every day for 30 days. And then the next month you can start them again or go backwards or however you want to do it.
Right.
And the other gift is an audio I've done where I talk about how meditation can help you with manifesting.
Mm.
Yeah, that's another whole topic
That's
we
another
didn't get
topic
to
for
today.
us to talk about.
Yes, yes. And I do want to say one last thing about the tears. I have, this is my, the book I published before, and you see it's called Laughter, Tears,
and silence.
and there's a whole section on meditations in part 2, meditations for grief, for sadness, for fear, for, and I talk about the 3 dimensions of tears, and I talk a lot about death and dying. And so this book has in depth about that, more in depth if you want that.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. See, she is a talent by herself. And we know, Pragito, that you have spoken on stage with, is that Mr. Gray, you know, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, right?
Yes.
And other famous authors in the space. So, Pragito, thank you so much. It's been a lovely lunchtime enlightenment right now for all of the viewers. And thank you everyone who joined us. So please make sure you go to discovermeditation.com/contact and get those juicy meditations every single day to help you be present, be more aware, be more enlightened, and just laugh your heart out. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. And next Tuesday, I will see you at the same time, 12 p.m. for another weekly episode that you don't want to miss. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Namaste.